This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Clean Cut Barbershop, located on 21 East Kelsey Avenue in Salt Lake City, Utah. To schedule an appointment, visit cleancutbarbershopslc.com. Walk-ins are also welcome. Mention Short Story Bingo and receive $5 off your first visit. Now, on to the show!
Ooh, that's a bingo!
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just said bingo. Bingo! How fun!
Cheers to you, cheers to me, and cheers to Podcast Friday. You are back up in the building with your boy, Nate Chacon III. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your second time, the retention program is working. Short Story Bingo is in full effect. If this is the first time for you to listen to what we do on this podcast, what I do is I'm a glorified narrator to stories that you might not have ever heard or cared to listen to or ever sought out. So, it's like Audible, sort of. Today, I have a guest of mine that, we met probably, 6 months ago, maybe a little longer than that?
January.
Okay. Anyway, MC Soulyricist is in the building. Say hello to the lovely people.
What up, though?
We're going to be reading out of today. Well, before I get into that, episode 40, The Terrible Old Man by my man H.P. Lovecraft, classic writer, classic novel. I had a couple comments about how the terrible old man had those eyes that were just always glowing, and how he ended up overcoming the gang that tried to fucking rob on him. So peace to that old man, and also peace to H.P. Lovecraft, because that was a story that was written in the late 1800s. So and we're gonna go back that route again as well with this one here from H.G. Wells. We're gonna be reading The Red Room, which was written in 1896. But before we get to any of that, we have to get to our random Twitter followers shout out. And today we're going to do a trifecta of it. We got, of course, at MC Soulyricist on Twitter, but also you can find him on Instagram at MC Soulyricist, and also on Facebook at MC Soulyricist. And lyricist isn't spelled crazy. It's just lyricist, Lyricist. With that being said, we got to shout out the 3 top countries. You know what? And 3 top states, of course. But I'm gonna just start including the United States from now on. I haven't been doing it for like the past 40 episodes. I just let you guys know that, yeah, of course, the United States is at the top. But I'm not even saying that I should have not done before, but I'm just doing it now. So the top 3 countries that are the top downloads for the month of July thus far are the United States, Canada, and Russia. So, not beyond the World Cup, Short Story Bingo is the most popular fucking thing cracking out in Russia right now. And then the top 3 states that are listening, Utah has finally taken its spot, but I'm not gonna lie to you, by 2 downloads. And second was Maryland. This is their 3rd week, I think, in the top 3, and third, Texas. So shouts out to the Southwest, but a big ups and shout outs to whoever's listening in Maryland. I know my sister listens in Virginia, so if she's just traveling to Maryland a lot, then consider this your Snapchat location finder, girl. And I don't know where. Anyway, so with that also in mind, at the end of this episode, we're going to be listening to a song by MC Soulyricist called "Find Your Cheese," and it's on everything, right?
Yeah, Find Your Chi. It's on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, SoundCloud, all that.
All of it. Love it. So yeah, what we got to do is get this book up. H.G. Wells, again, The Red Room, 1896. If you want, pause the episode and read the summary real quick, but that would kind of ruin it, right? Unless you've already heard this, then good on you. It is my first time reading it. As you guys always know, usually these are my first times reading these stories. So sit back, enjoy the ride. If you're walking your dog, that's cool. If you're fucking doing laundry, that's cool. If you're about to jump in the shower, good on you. But here's the opening song.
Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad. Most of the time they're funny because I hate to be sad. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. But don't take my word for it. Spare fingers.
I can assure you, said I, that it will take a very tangible ghost to frighten me. And I stood up before the fire with my glass in my hand. It is your own choosing, said the man with the withered arm and glanced at me askance. Of course he has a fucking withered arm. Okay, I gotta develop like character voices for the. Okay, so, let's do that. And then he's like, he has a withered arm, so I'm gonna make him sound. Okay, I got it. Okay. I could assure you, said I, that it will take a very tangible ghost to frighten me.
Tangible.
And I stood up before the fire with my glass in my hand. It is your own choosing, said the man with the withered arm, and glanced at me askance. 28 years, said I. I have lived, and never a ghost have I seen as yet. The old woman sat staring hard into the fire, her pale eyes wide open. Hey, she broke in. And 28 years you've lived and never seen the likes of this house, I reckon? There's a many things to see when one's still but 28. She swayed her head slowly from side to side. Many things to see and sorrow for. I half suspected the old people were trying to enhance the spiritual terrors of their house by their droning insistence. I put down my empty glass on the table and was sad about it because I had a fucking empty glass and they didn't offer me any fucking refills. I put down my empty glass on the table and looked about the room and caught a glimpse of myself, abbreviated and broadened to impossible sturdiness. In the queer old mirror at the end of the room, well, I said, if I see anything tonight, I shall be so much the wiser, for I come to the business with an open mind. Hold on, I gotta go back on this. Okay, so I put down my empty glass on the table and looked about the room and caught a glimpse of myself, abbreviated and broadened to an impossible sturdiness in the queer old mirror. I know that obviously queer has a different meaning here. Like, what would be queer old mirror mean?
Odd.
Is that what it would be?
Queer means odd, I believe.
Strange. Peculiar. Okay, nice. Okay, so in the odd, or in the queer old mirror at the end of the room. Okay, an impossible sturdiness of this mirror. All right, so this guy's kind of tripped out. He's like, what the fuck? Well, I said, if I see anything tonight, I should be so much the wiser, for I come to the business with an open mind. So he's like, okay, well, if I'm going to get scared by a ghost, fucking scare me. It's your own choosing, said the man with the withered arm once more. We get it. He's got a withered arm, man. I love how H.G. Wells is painting this picture already for us, though. I heard the sound of a stick and a shambling step on the flags in the passage outside. And the door creaked on its hinges as a second old man entered, more bent, more wrinkled, more aged even than the first. He supported himself by a single crutch and his dick. Just kidding.
Yo, these dudes like friends, like these two old ass men.
I think they're friends. I mean, we obviously haven't found out yet, but I think I don't know. I think they're friends. I mean, he just came in. He's like,
it's like grumpy old man.
Which is a good movie, by the way. Classic movie.
Great.
Would you, like when Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Who was the chick in it?
I don't know. You know what? I'm terrible with celebrity names.
Are you? So am I. as I just rattled off Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Was that fucking Tom Arnold and grumpy old? I want to know her name now. I know it. I know. Once it comes up, I'm gonna be like, God damn.
It's a dude from Dennis the Menace, and
the dude from Dennis the Menace, and the dude from
it's the old man from
fucking-
Dennis the Menace,
and the other dude from Dennis the Menace. They both
first
were.
one.
They both weren't in. Yeah, he was the kid. I think.
No, the dude.
Jack
wasn't.
Lemmon was not Dennis the Menace.
No, the grumpy man. His
Walter
name.
Matthau. Walter Matthau.
Look, I don't know his name, dude, but I know his face.
Yeah, he's got like he looks like a dog.
With that big nose.
Yeah, he looks like a basset hound.
Mixed with the boxer.
Okay, her name's Anne Margaret. That's what it was. That's right. Okay. All right. Anyway, okay. So these guys, we don't know if they're friends yet. Okay, he supported himself by a single crutch. His eyes were covered by a shade, and his lower lip half averted.
Dennis the Menace. Half a crutch.
Hung pale and pink from his decaying yellow teeth. Yo, man, adjust your mic a little bit. Or, like, bring it up or something. Because I feel like I can't hear you. And I would be remiss if we go through this whole episode not hearing you. Even that priceless-ass laugh that you got.
Oh, my gosh.
Much better.
Much better?
See, everyone can hear
Okay.
you much better now. All right, now we're all on board. Okay.
Mic control.
Yeah, you just got to eat. You got to be right. All right.
For real.
Okay, so you know what? We're going to get through his description one more time just because. All right, I heard the sound of a stick and a shambling step on the flags in the passage outside, and the door creaked on its hinges as a second old man entered, more bent, more wrinkled, more aged even than the first. He supported himself by a single crutch. His eyes were covered by a shade, and his lower lip, half averted, hung pale and pink from his decaying yellow teeth. He made straight for an armchair. I mean, by saying made straight, like just slowly walking straight. He didn't fucking run to the armchair. He made straight for an armchair on the opposite side of the table, sat down clumsily. I wouldn't say clumsily, just say like he sat down cautiously.
Nah, man,
Like,
he fell in that motherfucker.
he sat down clumsily and began to cough. P.S. If I cough during this, I don't know what's going on. I have like this little like allergic cough in the back of my throat, like kind of tickling. So, okay, so he made straight for an armchair on the opposite side of the table, sat down clumsily, and began to cough. The man with the withered arm gave this newcomer, they're not friends, a short glance of positive dislike. A short glance of positive dislike? What does that mean? A short glance of positive dislike.
Yeah, like I positively dislike you.
Like I'm happy to hate
Like
you.
I'm pretty sure I don't like your ass, man.
But take a seat, man.
Yeah, have a seat. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself. The old woman took no notice of his arrival, but remained with her eyes fixed steadily on the fire.
She was busy poking the fire.
I said, "It's your own choosing," said the man with the withered arm, when the coughing had ceased for a while. "It's my own choosing," I answered. The man with the shade became aware of my presence for the first time, and threw his head back for a moment and sideways to see me. I caught a momentary glimpse of his eyes, small and bright and inflamed. Then he began to cough and sputter again. "Why don't you drink?" said the man with the withered arm, pushing the beer towards him, the older guy. The man with the shade poured out a glassful with a shaky hand that splashed half as much again on the deal table. I fucking don't like that guy. You know that there's a guy that, like, I don't know about you guys, but I definitely have woken up with a little bit of the shaky hand because I might have tied one on a little bit the night before, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get some water. And I'm like this, and I'm like, fuck, it's everywhere. Also, I've definitely, I come from like, I'm reminded of a recent episode of Westworld, that this guy that is part of the entire system. Like he consistently like shakes, and he doesn't understand why he's shaking, but he's consistently shaking and like spilling his coffee everywhere, and he's not trying to do it. Like, but this guy is obviously super old. He's like at least
the old
1,000.
man. I don't know what the disease is called, but the old man disease and old lady disease, where you just get the shakes and you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it's a disease as much as it's just nerves, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know doctor shit, man. They be calling me some disease.
I love it.
Got the old man shakes, man.
You know fucking doctor shit, dog. No, I fucking don't, eh?
Trying to get all kind of loot, man. They got all kinds of contracts with these pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. I get that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he was spilling all over the deal table. A monstrous shadow of him crouched upon the wall and mocked his actions as he poured and drank.
So the shadow was laughing at him.
His shadow was... the shadow was like, you stupid mother... I must confess, I had scarce expected these grotesque custodians. There is to my mind something inhuman in senility, senile, like senility, being senile. There's to my mind something inhuman in senility, something crouching and atavistic. What the fuck does that word mean? We're looking that shit up.
Look it up.
It's spelled ATAVISTIC. So this is the word of the fucking... this might be the word of your fucking Friday, man.
Word of the day.
Word of the day. Atavistic. I might have even pronounced it incorrect, but I'm hoping...
Atavistic.
Atavistic. I got it. Okay. Relating to or characterized by reversion to something ancient or ancestral. Atavistic fears and instincts. So... Okay, so he's referring to these guys as ancients, like something crouching and atavistics, like something crouching and distant, like time ago. And he's referring to these people. So he's like, there's, I must confess I had scarce expected these grotesque custodians, the three old people. So I guess, and custodians, like his hospitality, the people that that are being hospitable to, to him. Mm-hmm. And then there's something inhuman in being senile, like you're not yourself, inhuman to being senile, and then something crouching and fucking distant, atavistic.
So the senile part is referring to
the three people, the three old folks, yeah.
Okay.
And he's saying that there's to him that they're that there's something inhuman to being senile.
Okay, yeah, like it's outside of
like consciousness. So like being senile is like you're basically done, like you're just like animalistic.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gone, buddy.
Right. Okay, so atavistic. Okay, the human qualities seem to drop from old people insensibly day by day, which is what okay. The three of them made me feel uncomfortable. Yeah, man, for sure. With their gaunt silences, their bent carriage, their evident unfriendliness to me and to one another. If, said I, you will show me this haunted room of yours, I will make myself comfortable there. The old man with the cough jerked his head back so suddenly that it startled me. God, fuck. He just... The old man with the cough jerked his head back so suddenly that it startled me. Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh, I knew, but I did not know you were there.
Right. I swear to God, I thought you were dead. And to be honest, wax museum. I thought that this whole thing was a wax museum and none of you guys were real. Oh my God. Okay, so suddenly that it startled me and shot another glance of his head. Oh, excuse me, hold on. And shot another glance of his red eyes at me from under the shade.
He gave him the stare down.
But with red eyes, so like...
He's like I got you, little son, with my eye lock.
But no, okay, so the old man, okay, let's go back. So he said, if, said I, you will show me to this haunted room of yours, I'll make myself comfortable there. The old man with the cough jerked his head back so suddenly that it startled me, and shot another glance of his red eyes at me from under the shade. But no one answered me. I waited a minute, glancing from one to the other. Yeah, I said louder. If you will show me to this haunted room of yours, I will relieve you from the task of entertaining me. Yo, just show me the room, man.
Oh.
There's a candle on the slab outside the door, said the man with the withered arm, looking at my feet as he addressed me. But if you go to the red room tonight... This night of all nights, said the old woman, you go alone. Very well, I answered. And which way do I go? You go along the passage for a bit, said he, until you come to a door, and through that is a spiral staircase, and halfway up that is a landing, and another door covered with baize. Go through that, and down the long corridor to the end, and the red room is on your left, up the steps.
Hey, hold on, man. Can you write that down for me?
Right. Can you write that down so I can put that in one of my treasure maps fucking collections?
Like, I don't have GPS, and I need some directions, my man. That junk was long.
That was... Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you where it's at. Give me a second. You go along the passage for a bit until you come to a door. I'm not making this up. I'm just doing it drunkenly, like as if he was like, okay, until you come to a door, and through that, okay, there's a spiral staircase, and then halfway up that, I think 1, 2, is a landing, and another door covered with baize.
All right, so let me get this right. So let me read this back to you. So I got go through the door.
Yeah.
Right, and then go to the staircase, the spirally staircase.
I think it's
go halfway up the spirally staircase, and then it comes to like a landing.
And
then I go left, and I find the door with the base.
And then go through that.
Go through that.
And then down. There's gonna be and then down the long corridor to the end. Just all the way
to the end.
And the red room is on your left up those steps.
Oh, so I go all the way down the hallway, and then I go some steps?
It is on your left.
On my left?
So at the end of the hallway, I think you turn left.
The red room?
You turn left, and there's steps up this side.
I bet, whatever, man, I'll find it.
I bet I got it.
The red room.
Okay.
Spiral staircase, halfway up landing.
I'm going to lay breadcrumbs behind me just in case as I'm going up, because I don't know if I'm going to get back. All right? He said, have I got that right? I said, and repeated his directions. He corrected me in one particular. And are you really going? Said the man with the shade, looking at me again for the third time.
I'm going.
With that queer, unnatural tilting of the face. This night of all nights, said the old woman. It is what I came for, I said, and moved towards the door. As I did so, the old man with the shade rose and staggered round the table so as to be closer to the others and to the fire. At the door, I turned and looked at them and saw they were all close together, dark against the firelight, staring at me over their shoulders with an intent expression on their ancient faces. Good night, I said, setting the door open.
But I was thinking, damn, yo, these people look creepy as hell.
It's your own choosing, said the man with the withered arm. I left the door wide open until the candle was well alit. And then I shut them in and walked down the chilly, echoing passage. I must confess that the oddness of these 3 old pensioners, in whose charge her ladyship had left the castle, and the deep-toned, old-fashioned furniture of the housekeeper's rooms, in which they foregathered, affected me, in spite of my efforts to keep myself at a matter-of-fact phase. They seemed to belong to another age, an older age, an age where things spiritual were different from this of ours, less certain, an age when omens and witches were credible, and ghosts beyond denying. Their very existence was spectral. The cut of their clothing, fashions born in dead brains, the ornaments and conveniences of the room about them were ghostly. The thoughts of vanished men, which still haunted rather than participated in the world of today. But with an effort, I sent such thoughts to the right about. The long, draughty subterranean passage was chilly and dusty, and my candle flared and made the shadows cower and quiver. The echoes rang up and down the spiral staircase, and a shadow came sweeping up after me, and one fled before me into the darkness overhead. I came to the landing and stopped there for a moment, listening to a rustling that I fancied I heard. Then, satisfied of the absolute silence, I pushed open the baize covered door and stood in the corridor. This is where it's about to get fucking real. I wanted to get through that part to like really hone in on what this guy was doing and how much I really loved H.G. Wells. I really love his descriptions. Like this, it seems like a movie. Like I could see like that scene of him being at the door and him looking, and them are like all looking up over their, over their shoulders, all like kind of huddled together in front of the fireplace, and being like, as he's walking down and seeing the light flicker, and it's like he said that, it made the shadows quiver and stuff like what a candlelight does. And
it makes me think like, man, are these people the ghosts?
Right. Are they the fucking, are they telling me not to go because they want me to go? Is this reverse psychology? Have you seen the movie, is it 1308? 1308 with John Cusack and Samuel Jackson. This is kind of the feel that I get for that.
I saw number 13 with Jim Carrey.
Number 23.
Number 23, right.
Yeah, number 23.
Right. Yo, that movie was crazy.
That movie was crazy.
That was like one of the first times I ever seen Jim Carrey in like a serious role.
It was a pretty serious role. I mean, I feel like it was, if it wasn't his first horror movie, it was definitely his first horror movie that was like went globally or whatever. It
was dope. If you haven't seen that movie,
it's a good movie. Number 23, check that movie out, and also check out 1308 with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. Honestly, it's a really good movie, and I'm getting the feels of that with this a little bit, except this isn't a hotel, this is a castle. Okay. I pushed open the baize covered door and stood in the corridor. The effect was scarcely what I expected, for the moonlight coming in by the great window on the grand staircase picked out everything in vivid black shadow or silvery illumination. Everything was in its place. The house might have been deserted on the yesterday instead of 18 months ago. There were candles in the sockets of the sconces, and whatever dust had gathered on the carpets or upon the polished flooring was distributed so evenly as to be invisible in the moonlight. God, it's so good, the description.
The bed was where the bed was supposed to be.
The bed.
It had a nightstand, and it was next to the bed.
And the mini fridge was stocked with booze that I did not want to touch, because you get charged for that shit.
Some Hennessy.
And the bed was where the bed was supposed to be. And for some reason, my shoes were there.
Man, I couldn't believe it. They even had a candle on a stick on the nightstand. Yeah.
Fuck. Oh my god. And suddenly I hear a knocking at the door. Dominoes. What the fuck is that? Room service, sir. Upon the polished flooring was distributed so evenly, and talking about the dust, as to be invisible in the moonlight. I was about to advance and stopped abruptly. A bronze group stood upon the landing, hidden from me by the corner of the wall, but its shadow fell with marvelous distinctness upon the white paneling, and gave me the impression of someone crouching to waylay me. I stood rigid for half a minute, perhaps.
Yo, I was staying rigid for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I've just been like, is it me or you moving first?
Oh
man?
my god. Where's the X?
Right. I stood rigid for half a minute, perhaps. Then, with my hand in my pocket that held my revolver, I advanced only to discover a Ganymede and eagle glistening in the moonlight. What's a Ganymede? Ganymede. Ganymede. Oh. It's the largest... Oh, it's Greek mythology.
What's a Ganymede?
Ganymede. In Greek mythology, Ganymede is a divine hero. So it's like a okay.
Like
So
Hercules.
it's a bronze statue and an eagle.
Oh, okay. That's what a Ganymede is?
Yeah, only discovered a Ganymede and eagle glistening in the moonlight.
Isn't it crazy how like one word like changes the entire sentence and even an understanding in the entire story? Maybe you don't know what a word is and you go to look it up and you're like, oh, that's what that means?
That's what that
Oh
means.
my god.
Right, exactly. Like I was saying to a couple guys at work today, they were talking about how one isn't good at talking game, or whatever, and so the other one was like, "Well, I'll help you," or whatever. He's like, "Okay, we'll just put an earphone in my ear, whatever." The playing that whole shit. And I was like, "Oh, the old Cyrano de Bergerac," and they both looked at me like, I don't fucking know what you're talking about.
I don't know who Cyrano or de Bergerac is.
Do you know who Cyrano de Bergerac?
I don't know who de Bergerac, I don't know Ciro, and I don't know none of them.
I don't know or no. All right? So fucking no, man, I don't. Anyway, Cyrano de Bergerac is the play where the guy is helping his friend get a girl that he likes. So anyway, the point that I'm making is that you're right.
So it's a Ryan Reynolds flick.
It's actually, Steve Martin did a movie about... Steve Martin did a movie. What's it called? He had the huge nose. Come on. Oh, my God. It was called Roxanne.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's Cyrano de
Yeah.
Bergerac.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's the adaptation.
Yo, Steve Martin is dope.
Steve Martin is dope. I was having a weird conversation about Steve Martin when his hair went gray. And we were like curious like when it happened.
Yo, did you know that guy can play a banjo like nobody's business?
I just watched him and Martin Short special on Netflix, and this guy goes off.
Dude, he is so nasty on the banjo.
Yeah, he's really good. Okay, so the bronze stuff that he had saw wasn't actually anything. So then with my hand in my pocket,
Next to the revolver
that held my revolver, I advanced, only to discover a Ganymede and eagle glistening in the moonlight. That incident for a time restored my nerve. Like, oh God, okay, it's just
I
fucking...
was cool. Just a statue, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? I ain't tripping.
And a porcelain Chinaman on a buhl table, whose head rocked silently as I passed him, scarcely startled me. The door. I just know what that. Like, it just. I can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love. Like I said. Like, I'll probably say it in a couple more times. As that, the description that he is providing is so advantageous to my imagination.
Dude, this whole house castle is creepy as funky chicken lovers, man. I grew up with this girl, and her grandma had this house that was built in like 1880 something or 1890, like, and the lady had the house since like 1920. Dude, I went over there one time. It was creepy. It was on this hill, nice neighborhood,
right?
In Tallahassee, Florida, or whatever. Dude, it had like hidden doors, chutes, laundry chutes, like extra hidden spots, like 4 floors and shit. And like the 4th floor, you couldn't even see or know unless you actually knew about it. You know what I mean? Like the basement was just like, I'm
not going.
Nah.
That's where the laundry goes. Then I'm just gonna keep it on me. I'll just hold it. I'll just hold my fucking.
I'm going to Goodwill.
I'm going to good. I'm just gonna
get a new outfit.
Isn't there a laundromat? Fucking. Yeah, no, my grandma's got it. No, she doesn't. She eats it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
She feeds it to the beast underneath.
She feeds it to the moth.
You know what I'm saying? To the Danadime, or what was that word?
She feeds it to the Ganymede.
Ganymede.
What did you just say?
I don't know.
The Ganymede.
Dynamite or something like that.
Yeah, I think you said diabetes. So.
Yeah. Diabetes.
The door to the red room and the steps up to it were in a shadowy corner. I moved my candle from side to side in order to see clearly the nature of the recess in which I stood before opening the door. Here it was, thought I, that my predecessor was found, and the memory of that story gave me a sudden twinge of apprehension. I glanced over my shoulder at the Ganymede in the moonlight and opened the door of the red room rather hastily, with my face half turned to the pallid silence of the landing. Just get in real fast. That's like that shit when you're like running up the like when you're running up the stairs as a little kid, and you're like just like you start walking, and then you like, and it's dark. You know what I'm saying? Like all the lights are out. It's like 11 o'clock at night, but you wanted to go downstairs and have a glass of milk. And so all the lights are on, then you're like turning the lights off slow as you're done with the milk. You're like,
you like hear something and turn real fast.
And
what was that?
Run up the stairs. But you start slow. You're like, okay, I got it. And then just like
book it.
Right, just gone. That's what he just did. I glanced over my shoulder at the Ganymede in the moonlight and opened the door of the red room rather hastily, with my face half turned to the pallid silence of the landing. I entered, closed the door behind me at once, turned the key I found in the lock within, and stood with the candle held aloft, surveying the scene of my vigil. The great red room of Lorraine Castle, in which the young Duke had died, or rather in which he had begun his dying, for he had opened the door and fallen headlong down the steps I had just ascended.
What?
I know, dude. I'm getting like in chills a little bit. All right, I'm not joking, man. Like, this is good. I like it. I fucking. This is why I love reading, because I can absorb myself into it. That had been the end of his vigil. So he just described the dude before fucking that went in there. He's like
falling out the door, falling down the stairs, and either dying or halfway dying.
Right.
What?
Okay, here we go. Strap your seats in, folks. All right. That had been the end of his vigil, of his gallant attempt to conquer the ghostly tradition of the place. And never, I thought, had apoplexy. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I gotta know what the fuck this word means. Hold on. I'm not finishing that sentence until I know what this word means. Apoplexy. APOPLEXY. Thank you so much, H.G. Wells, for using good terms.
Word up.
Apoplexy.
We got words for
It's
days.
a dated noun, is what this is. Unconsciousness or incapacity resulting from a cerebral hemorrhage or stroke.
All right, so use the word in the
I got it,
sentence
okay.
now.
That had been the end of his vigil, of his gallant attempt to conquer the ghostly tradition of the place, and never, I thought, had apoplexy better served the ends of superstition. So a stroke, so like just like hemorrhage, just being like, I never had I thought
out.
that, yeah, like I never had I thought that that would be so great to just die if you're if. Never have I ever wanted to drown before, but when I saw those sharks come, yeah, I'm fucking good. I'll go ahead and drown.
Never been so scared. Seeing these ghosts coming after me and all these crazy shit. Like, hey, man, I ain't trying to be around to find out what's going down now. Just
hemorrhage me now.
Just put my body in a...
Just apoplexy me now. And there were other and older stories that clung to the room. Back to the half credible beginning of it all. The tale of a timid wife and the tragic end that came to her husband's jest of frightening her, and looking around that large, somber room with its shadowy window bays, its recesses and alcoves, one could well understand the legends that had sprouted in its black corners, its germinating darkness. My candle was a little tongue of light in its vastness. What a great... Okay. My candle was a little tongue of light in its vastness. A little tongue of light. Like, I've never thought about it. It's like, just like that. It's like a little tongue of light. I love that. A little tongue of light in its vastness that failed to pierce the opposite end of the room and left an ocean of mystery and suggestion beyond its island of light. I resolved to make a systematic examination of the place at once, and dispel the fanciful suggestions of its obscurity before they obtained a hold upon me. After satisfying myself, just kidding, there's more to it.
Pause.
You want to go get another one? Go ahead. After satisfying myself of the fastening of the door, I began to walk about the room, peering round each article of furniture, tucking up the valances of the bed, and opening its curtains wide. I pulled up the blinds and examined the fastenings of the several windows before closing the shutters, leant forward and looked up the blackness of the wide chimney, and tapped the dark oak paneling for any secret opening. There were 2 big mirrors in the room, each with a pair of sconces bearing candles, and on the mantel shelf, too, were more candles in china candlesticks. All these I lit one after the other. The fire was laid, an unexpected consideration from the old housekeeper. Okay, so you're like, oh, all right, yeah. Okay, well, maybe they aren't that bad. Maybe they aren't so... I forgot the word that meant old. And I lit it to keep down any disposition to shiver. And when it was burning well, I stood round with my back to it and regarded the room again. I had pulled up a chintz-covered armchair and a table to form a kind of barricade over me. And on this lay my revolver ready to hand. For someone that's like not like a believer in ghosts, like this room has got him shook to the degree of like gripping his revolver. My precise examination had done me good, but I still found the remoter darkness of the place and its perfect stillness too stimulating for the imagination. Oh, I know what that's like too. Like, you know, when you're like looking into the darkness and you can just like see things that I don't know if you can just see things. I guess what I'm just saying is like your imagination can go wild. The echoing of the stir and crackling of the fire was no sort of comfort to me. The shadow in the alcove at the end, in particular, had that undefinable quality of a presence, that odd suggestion of a lurking, living thing. That comes so easily in silence and solitude. At last, to reassure myself, I walked with a candle into it and satisfied myself that there was nothing tangible there. I stood that candle upon the floor of the alcove and left it in that position. By this time, I was in a state of considerable nervous tension. Although, to my reason, there was no adequate cause for the condition, My mind, however, was perfectly clear. I postulated quite unreservedly that nothing supernatural could happen. And to pass the time, I began to string some rhymes together. Fucking MC or what?
Freestyle session. Cypher. With the ghosts.
I began to string some rhymes together. In Goldsby fashion. Of the original legend of the place. A few I spoke aloud, but the echoes were not pleasant. For the same reason, I also abandoned, after a time, a conversation with myself upon the impossibility of ghosts and haunting.
That verse was whack.
Yo, you're cut off.
That freestyle was whack, man. I had to quit.
This guy, like, he's really denying the ghost thing, and it's obviously very curious to me how nervous he still is there and how much he wants to make sure that the whole room is lit up with all the candles that have been provided, to include the fireplace. But I think that is just like regular human tension. I don't think anybody really is comfortable with the dark in a place that they don't know. And if someone tells you that they are, then so be it.
Especially with wavering shadows.
Yeah, I mean, while you're walking up the stairs to it, there's shadow. He said, like, there's a shadow that came in front of me, and there was a shadow that came behind me.
Those stairs must have been deep. He said he had to, like, wave the candle back and forth and not even make it up the staircase.
But I'm being serious. Like, I'm comfortable in the darkness in my house. And I don't even know if I'm super comfortable with it, but I've come to terms with it, I think. So I'm like, I haven't heard anything crazy for a while. But if I was in someone else, when I'm in someone else's house and it's like completely pitch dark, it's obviously a place that I'm unknown to. I think that's just, I don't even think of it as natural human nervousness as much as it's natural human emergency detection. Like, just like being like, if I hear something, I gotta make sure where the fucking window's at. And if I don't know where the window's at, like, I just gotta be able to run and run far or fight. I mean, there's that fight or flight thing. So I don't know if I can condemn this guy yet for being super, like, wanting to prove that there's not a ghost in the house. Because remember, at the beginning of the story, right, he said that I've never seen a ghost. That's what he said. Literally, first line of the story is what he said. So, I don't know.
He also said, but I'm open to it.
He did say that. So, I forgot about that part. He did say that he's open to it. Okay.
Also, what kind of stuck out me was that he was looking for, like, this last little portion that he read was, he didn't see any tangible things.
Right.
At the beginning of the story, there was something in the lines where it talked about, like, a tangible ghost or something like that.
What did it say?
It was right at the beginning. Those are the only two times he used the word tangible.
That is the only other time. Let's see.
And with the writer like H.G. Wells, the number of times that he uses certain words
is probably very calculated.
Yeah,
it's probably calculated. Tangible.
So I found that pretty peculiar.
Where do you say tangible?
Because he was like referring to, like, you know, some spirituality or ghost or something like that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that just now, when he's looking around the room for something and trying to be all cool and kill, right? And like calm himself down, he didn't see anything tangible.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't find it. But if you need to rewind, that's awesome too. So, but I feel what you're saying though. Yeah, I mean, it is cause for concern as far as keeping your ears open the rest of the story. Okay, for the same reason, I almost abandoned after a time a conversation with myself upon the impossibility of ghosts and haunting. My mind reverted to the three old and distorted people downstairs, and I tried to keep it upon that topic. The somber reds and blacks of the room troubled me. Even with 7 candles, the place was merely dim. The one in the alcove flared in a draught, and the fire flickering kept the shadows. And okay. And penumbra. Have you heard that? Penumbra. Penumbra.
Penumbra?
Is it penumbra or penumbra?
I think it's penumbra.
Let's see.
I never heard the word, but I think it's penumbra.
Can I hear that? Oh. It's not up.
See, now you hearing things. The story got you hearing things.
Penumbra. Okay.
Tripping.
Penumbra. The partially shaded outer region of the shadow cast by an opaque object. That's what it is. The partially shaded outer region of the shadow.
From a dark object.
By an opaque object.
Yeah, that's one that you cannot see through. That's what opaque means.
Right. So the partially shaded outer region of the shadow. Okay.
Of a dark shadow. Or
Right.
a dark object. So it's like a shadow on a shadow.
Okay, God. The one in the alcove flared in a draught, and the fire flickering kept the shadows and penumbra perpetually shifting and stirring. No, don't shift and don't stir if you're a shadow. Stay with me. That's what you do. 'Cause you're my shadow, man. Fuck. Casting about for a remedy, I recalled the candles I had seen in the passage, and with a slight effort, walked out into the moonlight, carrying a candle and leaving the door open, and presently returned with as many as 10. These I put in various knickknacks of china, with which the room was sparsely adorned, lit and placed where the shadows had lain deepest, some on the floor, some in the window recesses, until at least my 17 candles were so arranged that not an inch of the room but had the direct light of at least one of them. Good job, sir. Good job.
Lighting a shit ton of candles.
You lighting a mad ton of candles, B. It occurred to me that when the ghost came, that it would be a lot. A gallon.
So he's trying to perform a seance or something.
You didn't even catch what I just said.
A lot. A gallon. Casper.
It occurred to me that when the ghost came, like,
Pause.
it occurred to me that when the ghost came, I could warn him not to trip over them. Yo, what's up? Hey, come on. I found all of these, okay? Please. Also, some of these are in China.
Hey, watch out, man. You might can start a fire if you trip over
You
these
might could
candles.
start. You could probably start some shit, man. Please. It occurred to me that when the ghost came, I could warn him not to trip over them. The room was now quite brightly illuminated. There was something very cheery and reassuring in these little streaming flames. And snuffing them gave me an occupation.
A job.
And afforded a helpful sense of the passage of time. Even with that, however, the brooding expectation of the vigil weighed heavily upon me. It was after midnight that the candle in the alcove suddenly went out.
What?
And the black shadow sprang back to its place there. I did not see the candle go out. I simply turned and saw that the darkness was there. As one might start and see the unexpected presence of a stranger. By Jove, said I aloud. That draught's a strong one. And taking the matches from the table, I walked across the room in a leisurely manner to relight the corner again. My first match would not strike. And as I succeeded with the second, I just read this part. Something seemed to blink on the wall before me. I turned my head involuntarily and saw that the 2 candles on the little table by my fireplace were extinguished. I rose at once to my feet. Odd, I said. Did I do that myself in a flash of absent-mindedness? I walked back, relit one, and as I did so, I saw the candle in the right sconce of one of the mirrors wink and go right out. And almost immediately its companion followed it. There was no mistake about it. The flame vanished, as if the wicks had been suddenly nipped between a finger and a thumb.
Oh my gosh.
leaving the wick neither glowing nor smoking, but black. While I stood gaping, the candle at the foot of the bed went out, and the shadows seemed to take another step towards me. "This won't do," said I. And the first one and then another candle on the mantel shelf followed. "What's up?" I cried with a queer high note, getting into my voice somehow. At that, the candle on the wardrobe went out.
That's what's up.
And the one I had relit in the alcove followed. "Steady on," I said. "These candles are wanted," speaking with a half-hysterical facetiousness, and scratching away at the match the while for the mantle candlesticks. My hands trembled so much that twice I missed the rough paper of the matchbox. As the mantle emerged from the darkness again, 2 candles in the remoter end of the window were eclipsed. What? But with the same match, I also relit the large mirror candles. Shit, dog. I just looked up because I swear to God, I just thought I saw something, bro. Like over your right shoulder. I just went, did you see my eyes just now?
Yeah,
oh my
I did.
God. Okay. All right.
You tripping, dog.
I know. All right. No. But with the same match, I also relit the large mirror candles and those on the floor near the doorway. So for that moment, I seemed to gain on the instinctions. But then in volley there vanished 4 lights at once in different corners of the room. Yeah. I mean, it's 4 matches in 4 different corners. I mean, it's not the 4 corners, you know.
I mean, he had those candles lit, man. What did he get? Like
All
the
of 'em.
birthday trick candles or something like that?
The birthday why didn't he use the birthday trick candles?
Why did he get the birthday trick candles? Man, these old people are smart.
Those aren't birthday trick candles because they would come back on. But
Yeah, you right.
Yeah.
It's the opposite ones. It's the reverse.
These are the reverse trick candles.
Reverse
These are the
trick
ones
candles.
that they start and then just immediately stop.
These ones cost extra.
At your local bodega. But then in a volley, there vanished 4 lights at once in different corners of the room, and I struck another match in quivering haste, and stood hesitating whether to take it. Like I could just seem like it's like I wish I had sound effects right now, just like you can hear the matches moving and like trying to hit it, and his hands just. As I stood undecided and okay, here we go. All right, This is going to be good. As I stood undecided, an invisible hand seemed to sweep out the 2 candles on the table.
Oh, my God.
With a cry of terror, I dashed at the alcove, then into the corner, and then into the window, relighting 3 as 2 more vanished by the fireplace. Then, perceiving a better way, I dropped the matches on the iron, bound deed box in the corner, and caught up the bedroom candlestick. With this, I avoided the delay of striking matches. But for all that, the steady process of extinction went on, and the shadows I feared and fought against returned and crept in on me. First a step gained on this side of me, and then on that. It was like a ragged storm cloud sweeping out the stars. Beautiful, beautiful wordplay. Now and then one returned for a moment and was lost again. These are trick candles! Oh, they came back. Oh, fuck. I was now almost frantic with the horror of the coming darkness, and my self-possession deserted me. I leaped. So he's
wigging.
Yeah, he's wigging out. I leaped, panting and disheveled from candle to candle, in a vain struggle against that remorseless advance. I bruised myself on the thigh against the table. I sent a chair headlong. I stumbled and fell and whisked the cloth from the table in my fall. My candle rolled away from me, and I snatched another as I rose. Abruptly, this was blown out, and I swung it off the table by the wind of my sudden movement. And immediately the 2 remaining candles followed.
This dude's moving fast. He bumped into the table, didn't give a crap. He's got a bruise tomorrow.
He just
taking out candles.
Mad candles too. But there was light still in the room.
There's the happy candle.
A red light.
Oh.
That staved off the shadows from me. The fire! Of course, I could still thrust my candle between the bars and relight it. I turned to where the flames were still dancing between the glowing coals. The fireplace, that's right, okay. The fireplace, okay. I turned to where the flames were still dancing between the glowing coals and splashing red reflections upon the furniture. Made 2 steps toward the grate, and incontinently, the flames dwindled and vanished. So he went to the fire, and as he was about to like move the shit, they vanished.
In the fireplace?
Yeah. And as I thrust the candle between the bars, closed. And as I thrust the candles between the bars, darkness closed upon me like the shutting of an eye. What?
Oh my gosh! So he went to go try to light the candle
in the fireplace.
In the fireplace at the bottom,
and it went out.
It went out. Darkness overcame him.
Like the shutting of an eye. Wrapped about me, and let me read that. Okay. I turned to where the flames were still dancing between the glowing coals and splashing red reflections upon the furniture. Made 2 steps towards the grate, incontinently. I feel like there's a incontently. Yeah. Because contently, that's okay. Incontently. I made 2 steps toward the grate and incontently.
So uncomfortably.
Incontently. They didn't intend to fucking just go out. Like incontently. The flames dwindled and vanished. The glow vanished. The reflections rushed toward and vanished. And as I thrust the candle between the bars, darkness closed upon me like the shutting of an eye. Wrapped about me in a stifling embrace, sealed my vision, and crushed the last vestiges of reason from my brain. The candle fell from my hand. I flung out my arms in a vain effort to thrust that ponderous blackness away from me. And lifting up my voice, screamed with all my might, once, twice, thrice. Then I think I must have staggered to my feet. I know I thought suddenly of the moonlit corridor, and with my head bowed and my arms over my face, made a run for the door. But I had forgotten the exact position of the door. And struck myself heavily against the corner of the bed. That's that fucking stubbing your toe move.
That's how that dude fell on the stairs. He was
good way to recall. Okay.
He went out the door and fell his ass down the stairs, freaking out.
Okay. I staggered back, turned, and was either struck myself against some other bulky furniture.
It's pitch black right now.
Yeah, like you can't see nothing. I have a vague memory of battering myself thus, to and fro in the darkness of a cramped struggle, and of my own wild crying as I darted to and fro, of a heavy blow at last upon my forehead. A horrible sensation of falling that lasted an age. So he hit his forehead, just like the last thing. He's like, boom, boom, boom. So maybe he like hit like a mantle, like just like.
Yeah.
A horrible sensation of falling that lasted an age, of my last frantic effort to keep my footing. And then I remember no more.
He was out. Hit his head on the mantle.
Fell
out on the floor and passed the fuck out.
I opened my eyes in daylight. So he's still alive. Maybe.
Because the next day, the sun came up saying he was out.
He was out.
He knocked his ass out.
My head was roughly bandaged, and the man with the withered arm was watching my face.
Oh my gosh.
I looked about me, trying to remember what had happened, and for a space I could not recollect. I rolled my eyes into the corner and saw the old woman, no longer abstracted, pouring out some drops of medicine from a little blue vial into a glass. Where am I? I asked. I seem to remember you, and yet I cannot remember who you are. They told me then, and I heard of the haunted red room as one who hears a tale. We found you at dawn, said he, and there was a blood on your forehead and lips, and your pants were off, and for some reason there was
The lotion
piss
bottle
everywhere.
was open. That's gonna cost extra.
The mini fridge was open, and 4 gins and 3 Hennessy's, and for some reason a Pepsi were open. It was very slowly I recovered my memory of my experience. You believe now, said the old man, that room is haunted? He spoke no longer as one who greets an intruder, but as one who grieves for a broken friend. Yes, said I, the room is haunted. And you have seen it. And we who have lived here all our lives have never set eyes upon it, because we have never dared. Tell us, is it truly the old Earl who... No, said I, it is not. I told you so, said the old lady with the glass in her hand. It is his poor young countess who was frightened. It is not, I said. There's neither ghost of Earl nor ghost of countess in that room. There is no ghost there at all, but worse, far worse. Well, they said, the worst of all the things that haunt poor mortal men, said I. And that is, in all of its nakedness, fear that will not have light nor sound. Deep! That
Trick
will not...
candles.
Yeah, and trick candles with... That I can't even go. I can't
Reverse trick candles.
The worst of all of the things that haunt poor mortal men, said I, and that is in all its nakedness, fear that will not have light nor sound, that will not bear with reason, that deafens in darkness and overwhelms. It followed me through the corridor. It fought against me in the room. I stopped abruptly. There was an interval of silence. My head went up to my bandages. Then the man with the shade sighed and spoke. That is it, said he. I knew that was it. A power of darkness. To put such a curse upon a woman. It lurks there always. You can feel it even in the daytime. Even of a bright summer's day. In the hangings, in the curtains. Keeping behind you, however, you face it. In the dusk, it creeps along the corridor and follows you, so that you dare not turn. There is fear in that room of hers, black fear, and there will be, so long as this house of sin endures. And that is The Red Room, written by H.G. Wells in 1896.
Woo!
Dude, that's what I was saying. Short Story Bingo, episode 41. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. Again, this is Nate Chacon III. What we just read, I will reset that. H.G. Wells, The Red Room. Please check out all the other episodes that are available on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, all the things that you stream your podcasts on. And wherever you're streaming on this, please share with your friends. Let them know how much fun we're all having together. Reading stories, having fun, drinking a beer, or whatever the fuck you're doing. But thank you guys so much for the ride. Again, thank you to my guests, who we're going to speak to a little bit more here. Soulyricist, let the people know that you enjoyed that shit.
Yo, that was so dope, man. Dude, the theme of the story, the moral of the story... fear of light and sound getting out.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. That's what I was going to say. Remember I was saying that like, I think the bigger thing here is that the natural human fear of not being in an unknown place and like being like, yeah, such a weird
of not
thing.
being heard, of not being seen. Like,
that is
people like, I mean, like in our day and age, even right now, man, there's so many people like so depressed and have anxiety and even like committing suicide left and right. Like, you know, they feel like nobody's really listening to me, or, you know, who can I actually tell my story to? You know, I just want to be heard. I just want my to leave some type of legacy or something like that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And people stay in that darkness, and it consumes them and overwhelms them.
It's that fear of not being heard, but really it's like, are we hearing ourselves? You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to do all this stuff. He's calling out. He's lighting these lights so he can see stuff. When really it's like, whenever he was playing it cool and calm and collected, like, understand, like, hey, man, there's probably not some stuff going on. Like, you know, he was cool
Right.
about it.
Right.
But once he lost it and had that fear, then it was, he kind of like had his own.
Remember when he said at the beginning that there's an inhumanness to senility?
Mm-hmm.
And we were going over how deep that is, because you stop being human because you're going senile. So you go into animal fight or flight mode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was a reset, like in that
Right.
like, and even how you just explained it, of being like not knowing what to do and just going into a state of panic. What a deep story that was.
For real. H.G. Wells in the house, y'all.
Yo, 1896 in the house, yo. He wrote that in
Dropping
1896.
Bars, son. Bars.
Bars have been out here, B.
Ooh.
They've been out here. So, MC Soulyricist, please let folks know a little bit, a lot about more about you. I have a question personally. I know, well, explain where you're from and how long you've been here.
All right, so originally I am from Tallahassee, Florida. Was there for like 31 years or something like that, right? Then I moved out to Portland, Oregon,
Okay.
and lived out there for a couple years. And I've been in the state of Utah for a year and a half now.
Okay.
Moved like 30 minutes north or so of Salt Lake City.
How do you love it out here?
And I've been in Salt Lake City since January, so like 5-6 months or whatever.
Okay. How do you like it here?
It took some adjusting to get used to some things here culturally, for sure.
Sure.
Utah's just different than every other part of the United States of America. But after I moved to Salt Lake City, life got a lot better. It's like the only place in Utah that has any amount of culture, I think.
I feel that. And since you've been out here, I mean, how long have you been doing music?
Whew. Okay, so I've been doing music for a long time. I started piano lessons when I was like 4 years old.
Oh, that's right. You make beats and everything too, right?
Yeah, I make beats. I play instruments. I used to sing in the chorus and the choir. I was in a barbershop quartet one time. Have been in bands. Have done hip hop. Like, I think at my first hip hop performance, right, was in high school.
Nice.
Yeah, in high school.
What'd you do? Well, hold on. I want to go back to the piano. So, like,
Okay.
how old were you when you started playing piano?
So when I started playing piano, I was 4 years old when I started taking piano lessons at the School of Music. And my mom was the children's piano teacher at the School of Music that I went to.
Oh,
She was also the children's choir director at the church that we was at. And so when I was like 3 years old, she got me in singing with the choir.
nice.
Early, because she was the choir director. So she was like, I'm going to bring my little kid.
My son. Yeah, I'm gonna bring my son. Also, I'm bringing him because I gotta bring him. But
Yeah,
since he's here, I'll throw him in there. That's wonderful. So obviously, music has been a big part of your life, whether it beyond just hip hop, right?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
what was it like? What do you remember as being your first show that you went to? Whether again any show that that you went to that was put on like a show. Like for me, for example, the first show that I went to, I was 16 years old, and I went to Chicago with my dad. at what used to be, I think it's a Maverick Center now, but before it was called the E Center out in West Valley City out here. But so that's my, just to give you an
Cool.
example. Yeah, what was your first one?
Okay, so I would say like my first like real concert.
Yeah.
My dad took me. It was at the Civic Center or whatever in Tallahassee, Florida. It was to go see the Temptations and the Four Tops.
What?
Yeah, yo, classic 70s shit.
Yo, David,
Like soul singers.
David Ruffin wasn't there, right? No, David Ruffin died well before, but it was
So
still
the Four
dope. Though.
Tops
It was
had
a-
three. Actually, had three tops. It was crazy because so the Temptations were there,
Yeah, three
and
tops.
they blew it out the water.
Right.
Like they just came out with their album Rising at the time, or The Rising or something, and that was ill. You know, they did some classics and all that good stuff. But then the Four Tops came out as the Three Tops, and they had an extra microphone stand with the microphone in it
Dope.
on the stage to represent the
fourth.
spirit of the fourth top.
The spirit of the fourth top.
Yo, they was doing the dance and
dope.
everything. It was sick.
I love that so much. I love that. And how old were you said?
I was in 8th grade.
So like 14-ish.
Yeah.
13, 14.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now. I think I went to Julio Iglesias at Bravenel Hall when I was like 12, and that was amazing. But my first like concert, like, it was when I was 16 when I went to Chicago. Okay, so when you, what's like, in your discography, if I were to like look up, like how many different albums or mixtapes or, what's your discography entail?
Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting because in 2016, August of 2016 is when I released my first official LP
Dope.
album, and it's 12 tracks. It's all instrumental. It's called Verbatim Volume 1,
Okay.
which is all that junk is kind of ironic and stuff, right? Because you've got this dude named Soulyricist coming out with an instrumental tape called Verbatim. So there's many levels. It's pretty deep as far as like how it was set up, even why I picked 12 tracks on there.
And it's available online?
It's available online.
All your stuff is available online, right?
Yep, it's available online. You can go to soulyricist.com.
We'll have a link for that in the description box of this. So
Got the album there, got beats up there. I put out 2 songs on like all major platforms, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, iTunes, all that good stuff, pretty recently. So Find Your Chi and a song called Ask Me Later, Open Them Up.
wait, find your chi. I thought you said find your cheese.
Yeah, no, you said it wrong, though.
I did say it wrong.
Like,
That's
nah.
awesome. I'm so happy. And I know that I should have been on this before, but whatever. I'm gonna do it now. I know I've listened to your beats. I've absolutely commented fire on a bunch, like on Instagram. So follow him. Like if you're, if you have a cousin, or if you are that cousin that happens to rap or whatever, or just like listen to instrumentals. I love doing that too. I have a whole folder just of instrumentals that I'll start my morning with. I'll start my morning either with Hans Zimmer or just like instrumentals and Hans Zimmer's instrumentals, but. Yeah, man, he is a great follow. So again, follow him at MC Soulyricist. He has some shows coming up. I mean, this is dropping on July 13th. So after today, where can folks find you?
All right, so yeah, I got some shows coming up. July 26th is a really dope show. It's Utah's annual Beat Society showcase, and gonna be blessed with Planet Asia and MBS coming through to perform for us on that evening.
And where's that again?
That is at
Metro Music Hall.
Metro Music Hall.
I don't have. I guess. I mean, I've been looking up definitions and stuff. I'm gonna get you guys the address for Metro Music Hall in a second. Go ahead, can continue.
Yeah, so that's cool because I'll be doing a beat set.
Oh, dope.
Live beats.
Okay.
Live beats, making beats live right there on the spot. And some other really, really dope
It's the Beat Society? Is Berto going to be there too?
Berto Blunts, Blunted Beats, or whatever. He's going to be there.
The address there is 615 West, 100 South. So, anyway. And then what's going on?
So then I got 2 shows in August and 1 in September. So August 2nd is the Life of Madness tour. That's Charlie Madness coming out from Nevada.
Nice.
From Las Vegas. Also with G Life, he's here from Salt Lake.
But also like a local
classic.
Yeah, dude. Like this guy, he's a hard worker. So I'm gonna go to that show.
Yeah, so that's August 2nd. And then August 10th, got dude Dangerous Devil putting together his tour, his City Lights 2018 tour. Yeah. And this is the first show kicking off his tour.
Right. He asked me to host that, and because I also host the Friday Night Fallout show on 90.9 FM on Fridays.
And you got local legend MC Anyone performing there as well.
He's going to be there too?
Up.
Dope. Hell yeah. I love Anyone. He's amazing. And then after that, I think...
So, after that, a big show for me and dear to my heart is... You God of Wu-Tang Clan performing here on September 24th. I've got tickets for that, so opening up for them is a huge blessing.
Right, and the biggest reason why you were telling me off air before we started the podcast is because of how much Wu-Tang has obviously influenced you from the jump. Like for me, for example, and I want to know one of the first experiences you had, but for me, literally. Like, the first song I ever tried to comprehend was when I was 6 years old, sitting in front of my sister's speaker, listening to Cash Rules, Everything Around Me, Cream, Get the Money, Dollar Bill, y'all. And I was like, I don't fucking get it, man. I was like, because all I listened to is what my parents were listening to, which was Santana, which is dope, and the Beatles, which are dope, which is Elvis, which is dope, and Fleetwood Mac, which is dope. But my sister would play, like, her music in her room, and I would just be like, oh, man, I want to hear it. And then not even in my head I'd be like that. But she had it on, and I just sat and I'm like, So that's my experience with Wu-Tang, how it started for me. What about you?
Word. Now, as far as like my first introduction to Wu-Tang, I'm not really sure because like I've got 2 older sisters. One of them's 10 years older than me. The other one's 6 years older than me. And so I used to take like their CDs and stuff like that.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? Like one of my sisters was listening to like Snoop Dogg and like Dr. Dre, The Chronic when it dropped off. So
all the things,
West Coast funk shit, you know what I mean? And my other sister was listening to more like gutter shit, like, I mean, it was still West Coast, but like Tupac and... I mean, they were kind of listening to the same stuff, but different at the same time. Like Sir Mix-a-Lot. And, and then my homies would listen to, like, Helter Skelter, No Limit Soldiers, Wu-Tang, fucking Bone Thugs and Harmony. And so all that stuff just kind of got, just, like, consuming lots of hip-hop. I even consumed lots of hip-hop that I wasn't even familiar with who the artists were or what the song title was at the time, but could remember listening to those songs and really digesting the music portion.
Right.
And the cadences, like the rhythmic part, because some of the lyrics I just either didn't understand or didn't hear all of it together being such a young age.
Just like some of the words I didn't understand in the story.
Exactly.
I'm not even joking about that.
But what really set it off for me with the Wu-Tang Clan, and I was like, oh, this is so deep. Was Triumph. When Triumph came out, God. The video on MTV, all that good stuff, Wu-Tang Clan, Wu-Tang Forever, the double disc album, that album really, because I was a little bit older, probably in I just started high school, or maybe like the last couple years of middle school or something like that.
Right.
Was really when I started to digest like the philosophies and all that stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna play some fucking Wu-Tang Clan really quick.
But that Triumph track is like one of my favorite joints.
Just nasty. Oh, we can't even hear it in our headphones right now. Damn it.
Well, you can just play that on the podcast.
I'm gonna play it on the podcast. Yeah, I'll edit that in post.
Right.
That's how they do it. Yeah. But yeah, man. Bomb atomically. Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how we'll be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically perform hard robbery.
What?
Flee with the lottery. Possibly they spotted me. Come on, man.
What?
Yeah, so yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Dude, I gotta say thank you so much for being here, man. It's a little late into the night, but we managed to get through it with great story, with incredible description work and writing style from H.G. Wells. Even though it was had its time in 1896, I only had to look up 2 words, I think, 3 words, something like that, and for good reason. He had beautiful literature that he abided by. So I'm, just really happy that his work is still out and about, and that he's as published as he is. And I absolutely feel honored to read his stuff to you guys. I've been wanting to read from H.G. Wells for such a long time, so I'm happy to get back into the groove of classic writers. But next week, we're definitely going to be reading something out of the New York Times. So we're just going to be getting a quick little blip of something else. And then we'll probably hit a serial killer in like 6 weeks or something. I don't know. But I definitely want to hit a mafia member soon again. Some sports stuff. All sorts of stuff. But I thank you guys for riding with me. MC Soulyricist, please give a sign off for yourself, sir.
Yo, word up. Soulyricist in the house. You know what I mean? Soul, like, you're searching for your inner soul, and lyricist as one who writes lyrics, 1 L, 1 word, 1 love.
Bomb. Episode 41, Short Story Bingo, H.G. Wells, The Red Room. My name is Nate Chacon III, and I am out.
Peace.
Dun dun dun.
Spear fingers. Cheers.
Yeah. Word up. Know I'm saying? This for all you introspective cats trying to grow, you figure deal me? I don't abide by the rules of this earth. I abide by the rules of the universe. When my soul touches down, it wants to disperse, disgusted from the function of man's words. Why do we try to take down folks? Why do we try to break down hope? Why do we point fingers and poke? Yo son, we only hang from our own ropes. Hypocrite to the grit, let him rip from the hip. Double dip in dark chocolate. I'll never become a recluse, just like the old ancient Greeks forever need Zeus. I keep the mic smoking, pursuit of wisdom. No, I'm not joking, there's roots in the system. I swing from the kingdom and bring some love and peace deep in the drums. Peach like a plump grandson, learn the anthem. Phantom of the opera, Nostradamus, ultimatum. Yolks in the eggs and toast with the bacon. Art is what we making. Lost in the dark by the light I'm escaping. Wings to depart from this body awaken. Waking. Yo, we gotta use a little bit of salt to preserve the holiness when things fall apart. Instead of looking out, return to the vault. Sometimes in life, yo, it's not your fault, come on. Yo, we gotta use a little bit of salt to preserve the holiness when things fall apart. Instead of looking out, return to the vault. Sometimes in life, yo, it's not your fault, come on. Sometimes in life, yo, it's not your fault. Yet we have choices. If we don't learn from mistakes, poison. Let the boys be boys, but when you're a grown-ass man, you gotta have poise. Come on everybody, it's time to build. Iron on iron, still steel on steel. Wheels on vinyl, no run of the mill. Supreme mathematics, overlung, know the deal. Skilly bop when I'm heating up the beatbox. I'm addicted to this music, you can send me into detox. Doing what I can in my shells or my Reeboks. Go up about 3 blocks for the teapots. Deepak Chopra, Dr. Phil Oprah. I don't really care what you owe us. I'm here for the souls of Sodom and Gomorrah. Swapping out the slop at the chop shop, middle name Forrest. You can find me on the mountaintop, out where the fountain drops, watching the joust, flipping props. Do the man falling flat out, raising up no doubt, even though yo he's got no clouds. Find your chi, seek the ultimate energy. It's a side of your H to the E to the ART. Yo, better believe, come on. Yo, we gotta use a little bit of salt to preserve the holiness when things fall apart. Instead of looking out, return to the vault. Sometimes in life, yo, it's not your fault, come on. Yo, we gotta use a little bit of salt to preserve the holiness when things fall apart. Instead of looking out, return to the vault. Sometimes in life, yo, it's not your fault, come on. Sometimes in life, yo, it's not your fault. Instead of looking out, return to the vault.